Hello everyone again and welcome to this particular video, and in here we're going to continue from where we stopped concerning linear relations, mainly equations. And our previous video we explored how the graph, which is in this form where we have our y-axis and our x-axis, we have a line, and this line has different characteristics where this region here where the line crosses the y-axis is represented as B, which is called the y-intercept, and this line where we go from our run in here versus our rise, we notice that to show that if we divide our change in y, which is our rise, by our change in our x, which is our run, we will be able to find our m for that particular line, and that is called the slope. So a little bit of conversion to remember is for our change in y with respect to the graph. If we go up, that is positive, and if we go down, it is negative. However, on the other side, for our change in our x, if we actually go from left to right, this is known to be positive, and if you're going from right to left, that is negative. So moving on to this question in here, it says that we should determine the order pairs. So order pairs means that given a specific point, which in this case is that we have a point that is -3 for our x and our resulting y is r6, and this particular point lies on the line. We know that if we want to locate the other pairs, we just need to move repetitively rise of -2 and run that is +5. So when you say rise, that means that we're dealing with the y, and if you're looking at the run, we're dealing with rx. So once you recognize those key facts, it shouldn't be any problem actually dealing with the graph and how the graph method will be used to determine the two other pairs. There are other methods in here, but we're going to do graph and the second method, which will be coming out soon. So looking at here, we actually have this our graph. We're going to draw our y and x axis. So this is our line in here, and in here we have this here to be noticed to be our y. So this is our positive y, and this is our negative y. On the other side here is our positive x, and while on this other side here is known to be our negative x. So if we're counting our coordinates, we're going to make this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and +6, while on this other side is the negative values for our y, -2, -3, -4, this will be -5, and this here is -6, while on this other side, let's go by 2 spaces. So this will be 1, this will be 2, this will be our 3, this will be our +4, this will be +5, this will be +6, this here will be +7. That is for our positive x values. And while the other side, 2 steps away, -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. So looking at this, we need to locate this point -3 and 6 on this particular graph. So what we do is that our x value is -3, which is right here, and we go all the way up to the horizontal line that is touching the y, +6, sorry. So this is +6, and then we actually have located our line point, sorry, which is -3 and +6. So once we're able to locate those of that particular line, all we have to do is just follow our direction, which is we go 2 steps down, which is for our rise, because negative 2 means that I am going down 2 steps, which means in here we're going to start here. We're going to go 1, 2, that is negative 2, and then we're going to move 5 to the right, because positive on the x is the moving from left to right, and while we're moving 5 steps, so we're going to go 5 steps here. 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and that is 5. So our new point will be located right here, and this coordinate here is known to be 2, 4. So our x is 2 as shown here, and our y is positive 4. And if we do that again, we go 2 steps down, we go 1, 2, and then we actually move positive 5 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We actually stop right here, and that positive 5, which is our change in x, we actually locate our new point, which is actually 7 for our x, and our y is actually 2. So we've located our 2 other points relative to our original point, which is negative 3 and 6. And if you make a line, you should be able to find the slope line, which is starting from here. Let's go. We are actually touching here. That is good. And we always go over there. So this should be good right there. Let's adjust this to actually make this to be revealing. Is it possible to move this line? Not really. Okay, let's change this, and if we get, so I just have to adjust this properly. And okay, let's get this line here. Okay, that is good. And then we adjust this. Yes, there we have it. So that is our line. So you can locate any point on this particular line right there. So that is great stuff we have concerning determining the 2 ordered pairs. The first order pair is what we have right here, and the second order pair is what we have over here. So our answer is as follows. So in here we have our first order pair to be 2, 4, and the second order pair is 7 and 2. And this is due to the fact that we know that our slope is equal to our rise divided by our run, and our rise is represented as our change in y divided by our run, which is our change in x. And in this case, our change in y we notice from the question to be negative 2, and our change in x, which we notice to be positive 5. This is actually equal to 2 over 5. Negative divided by positive gives you negative, and we see that in here our negative 2 is going down and our x is going to the right. So that is about it for that first method. And the other method is actually using table of values. And using table of values, you remember from our previous lesson that in here we're dealing with our x and our y, and we know that we're given the points based on the question to be negative 3 and positive 6, and we need to find 2 other pairs, which means we need to find what this value is and what the y value will be, and the next order pair is actually the x and its y. So to go about finding the next order pairs, what we need to know is that going from the first order pair, which is -3, to the next order pair, we know that we are going 2 steps down. So what that means in here is that if you're going 2 steps down, that will be for ry. However, if you're going 5 steps to the right, that is for rx. So this here represents our change in y, and this here is also equal to the change in y. However, on the x, we are actually going for the change in x, and the same thing is applicable right here, which is our change in x. So what do we know from our question? We do know that our magnitude is equal to our slope is equal to our change in y divided by our change in x, and this change in y is -2 and our change in x is +5. So we know therefore that our change in y is equal to -2 and our change in x is equal to +5. So we're going to use these to determine what the other values are. So if we go back to our table, which I'm going to redraw over here, where this is our x and that's our y, and we're starting with this point -3 and 6, and we're going to find the next value. It means that in here we're going to go 5 steps up for rx, or to the right, which means that it will be -3 plus 5, which will give me +2. However, for our change in y, which is starting from the point 6, we are going to move 2 steps backwards. So you're going -2, and that means that it will be 6 minus 2, which will give us 4. So once you've found your first point, which is +2 for our x and its y to be +4, the next one is to find the other point, which is the other pair, and the same thing we do with -3 is what we're going to do with +2. We're going to add 5 to +2, and what we get is going to be +7, and our y for that +7, we're going to do the same thing which we did in +4. We're going to add now -2 in there, and it means that we're going down, which means that it will be +4 minus 2, which will give us +2. So this as well is actually a great strategy to determine our 2 order points. The first order point is known to be 2 and 4, and the second order pair is known to be 7 and 2. So this is the answer to both strategies, and this is actually related as well to the same thing which we did at the top for method 1, where we found our 2 order pairs. So that is about it for this particular video concerning how to strategize in solving problems involving finding order pairs, first using graphical method, where we actually follow the steps on the graph. We know our conversion, and by so doing we're able to trace the other points on that particular graph. And the second method is to use your table of values, knowing our slope, which is changing y over changing x, and from that you'll be able to figure out the other points on that particular graph. The third one could be given an equation. You could actually find the equation of this line, and by so doing you can put in any value for x on that equation and you can get your y value. So that is about it for this particular video. Please, thanks so much for watching this. Hit that particular comment section or send me an email concerning any question you may have concerning this particular topic, and on the next video we're going to dive even more examples concerning linear relations. So stay smart and believe in yourselves.